Mercedes Moné and Britt Baker had one of the worst matches I've seen in years at AEW All In, and we're going to talk about what went wrong and why it happened today on Tooney Town Wrestling. Hello, I'm Marvin, and I'm the Movie Monster. Mercedes Moné is an overhyped, overpaid disaster for AEW in every way. And, what the hell? How did she get my number? Well, let's just hit ignore. As I was saying, Tony Khan is paying this woman an obscene amount of money, coupled with the cost of her writer/babysitter, Jennifer Pepperman, who feeds her her lines through an earpiece to, what the hell? Ignore. Jesus. As I was saying, Mercedes, son of a bitch! Alright, what?
Ew, who the hell do you think you are trying to talk to me like that? Do you know how much money I make?
Yup, and I think that in a career defined by poor decisions, this is Tony Khan's poorest decision.
I am the wrestling voice of a generation. The Crystals told me I would be like the best women's wrestler of all time.
Yeah, the Crystals lied to you.
The Crystals don't lie. I was told that by my spiritual healer.
The spiritual healer lied to you.
My spiritual healer doesn't lie. My life coach told me that.
Your life coach, for the love of God, there is nothing in this world that you're good at.
Well, then why am I so rich?
Because the universe isn't fair.
Honestly, I think you talking about my match with Britt Baker from All In is gonna be like spreading a lot of negativity, and I don't think you should be putting that out into the universe.
Yeah, I bet you don't, but I'm still gonna do it.
Look, I know you wanna talk about me and stuff because I'm such a proven ratings draw, so why don't we talk about my new musical album instead?
God, no! I would rather talk about the sex life of my grandparents in vivid detail than talk about your music album.
I'll sing you a song from my album.
No, please don't!
Fighting creative by daylight, winning matches by moonlight, taking great offense from each slight. She is the one Mercedes Moon. Yay.
Quick! Cut to the clip! Save yourselves! We're gonna hear about this terrible match today on Tooney Town Wrestling! Oh, God, make it stop! Alright, so, yeah, the Jericho match was terrible, but let's move on to the worst match of the night. Just the match that defined bad. Mercedes Moné and Britt Baker. The worst match I've seen since... It's not as bad as Uso versus Uso, but it's the worst match I've seen since Uso versus Uso.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Who was more unprofessional in that match?
Britt Baker.
Easily, no question.
She came out with Boo Boo Job Face.
Yep.
She came out with Boo Boo Job Face, and I honestly, look, it's perfectly logical that maybe she's just not a very good wrestler. I'm not overly familiar with her work, but when I watch that, I'm like, this is somebody purposely trying to make someone look bad.
Exactly.
My goodness.
You don't agree?
I don't agree. I think this was more, they had zero chemistry, zero communication. I know people are trying to accuse her of sandbagging when they were on the top rope, but I think that was really more of a fear thing. But I think this was just two people had a very bad match / a very underwhelming match, especially when it came after Ospreay versus MJF.
Yes, and we can't forget that these two together have had less than you can count on one hand matches in the past year.
Yeah,
combined. It's not like
how about the fact that if she did sandbag her, it's hysterical because she was the one accusing Thunder Rosa of sandbagging what's her face, Marina Shafir.
Yeah, well, and I think that's why everybody's kind of jumping on it. I'm like, we got to remember too, Mercedes is not very strong. She's just not.
Well, because she's stick thin, yeah.
Exactly. We've watched her almost kill people in many matches. She can't. It's also why whenever she has a super physical match, she's always bloody injured. There's a lot of things at play. I think people are being a little hard on Britt, while also doing the we need to make excuses for Mercedes. This was just a terrible match, and
Mercedes very clearly booked the finish of this match herself because it made no sense. You get the bodyguard ejected. You have the big babyface moment, and the logical finish here is some kind of roll-up win or using the ropes or foreign object, something like that. Instead, Mercedes beats her clean as a nun's bed sheets. It made no sense.
Well, here's the other catastrophe of this. And this happened many times leading up to the match and again in the match. You see this with like some wrestlers, they just they don't, when they're babyface, they think they have to be like super strong all the time. And as a babyface, selling and peril are your friends. It invites interest, it invites energy. If you just catching a whipping is the fastest way to get people behind you, because when you finally fire up and you become a house of fire and you're laying everybody out, the bad guys getting their comeuppance. A couple weeks ago, I've been screaming about this. I think we talked about it on Twitter with this and Neckbeard. They already bumped Camille. You ruined it. Camille should be your China. We saw when
even more than that, she should be your Sid. Imagine
she's not big enough to be Sid.
Imagine, but to those women, she's Sid sized. Imagine like Brett bumped Sid like a week into a feud with Shawn or something like that. Like, it would not be good.
Yeah, she should be the female China. I think it makes sense. Stole your joke.
You about to say I made that joke? That was Jordan Grace,
and he gave you credit for it.
Yeah.
Camille has the can-do stick, and Britt hits her with it, and the Camille breaks it over her knee. And what did Britt do? She no-sold it and then immediately jumped up and wanted to attack her. As the babyface, your job is to be like, oh crap, what am I dealing with? And then maybe not necessarily powder, but like if Britt had sold that, Camille would have been made. It wouldn't matter what you did. Now you roll into the match and you're looking at this stupid finish, and instead of just taking the heat and taking a beating, we're doing all these stupid, complicated spots that they can't bloody well do. And then you get to this ending that just defies all logic. Why are you going to put the manager in a position where she knocked you out with the belt? That should be an automatic DQ.
That was so dumb. It was so dumb.
Stupid.
That referee in any universe of the multiverse, that referee turns around, sees you laying there, sees the manager with the belt, and calls for the bell, and you just screwed yourself.
And immediately after, he caught Mercedes trying to hit her with the belt. So there's no reason to let it continue. It should have been instant DQ. Mercedes retains. It was a dumb idea because Britt doesn't understand. In her head, she's like, I can't look weak. But then you lost dead center ring, so there's no. Well,
that's hence the boo-boo job face. She couldn't. The problem is you could be Tony Khan's weird crush all you want. It's not going to supersede a contractually mandated creative control clause, which Mercedes has loudly and proudly told everyone that will listen that she has.
Mm-hmm. I believe that the day that Britt Baker showed up in that back locker room, Jennifer Pepperman and Mercedes No Leg Day Mone went up to her and was just like, "You're not going over." And the moment you saw Britt Baker come back on camera on Dynamite, she had the boo-boo face, and she worked that whole thing for the next 4, 5, 6 weeks going into this match. She knew what it was, and she professionally sandbagged Mercedes Moné. That's my opinion.
Look,
And to be honest,
she's always involved whenever there's drama backstage, always. So you can either believe that she's a problem or that everybody else in the world is the problem. It's the CM
Get
Punk
rid of
thing
her.
I used to always say.
well, they're also both problems, right?
Well, yes, they are
And
both problems, but in
they're
different
both
ways.
problems. And also, how about the fact that they're just both not very good? Like, I think people are just kind of losing that. Is that neither of them have ever had a match where they carried someone else to a good match. They've always been carried, whether it be by Thunder Rosa, whether it be by Bayley, whether it be by Charlotte Flair, whether it be by Chris Statlander. They've always been carried to their best matches. So to assume that you can throw them on the quote unquote biggest show of the year, having never wrestled each other before, both of them having ring rust like crazy, and think that they can have a match that deserves the spot that it got over their the women's world title match, mind you.
That I can't even fathom. If I'm Tony
Over
Storm, I'm living
the
about
one
that.
that's supposed to be their biggest story, the one that they've been touting as the thing that they're holding on to as the one time that they were able to do quote unquote cinema in wrestling, and they put it on second on the card in favor of this, which it was a bad mix of Britt Baker having boo-boo job face, Mone getting everything she wants, and nobody knowing how to book a match, and two people who can't wrestle a match very well. Go ahead.
I make no doubt about it. When you look at that match, that is a Mercedes Mone match. That is every match she wrestled as a babyface. It's just Britt was in her role.
It even had the Eddie Guerrero spot, you know.
She will always turn her back on her friends. She's the biggest setter of trends. She learned just how far Paige's neck bends. She is the one Mercedes Moon.
It's still happening, folks. I don't know what to do. We're on verse 19, and it just keeps getting worse. Jabber Monster, quick, you have to counter with something more obnoxious. There's nothing more obnoxious. You need to initiate Plan J. No, I can't. It's not worth it. It's the only way, Jabber Monster. All right, fine. All stations, open fire.
I look and see it's not just me. So many others have stood where I stand. We are the young, so raise your hand. They call us problem child. We spent our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We are the youth gone wild. We stand and we won't fall. We're one and one for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth gone wild. Let it get wild. Yay!
Oh, wow. She's gone. But at what cost?
About $10 million a year. Oh.
I like that joke. And I like bringing you guys daily content Monday to Friday here on Tooney Town Wrestling. If you're a patron over at patreon.com/Tooney Town Wrestling, you get all these videos, including new song parodies and new episodes of the Headlock Headlines early. And I hope you'll all tune in Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. for Tooney Talk Wrestling, a live stream pro wrestling podcast you can make your voice heard as part of the Tooney Town community. If you liked what you saw here today, please like, share, and subscribe. Click the bell icon to get notified of new videos as they drop. From all of us here at the Tooney Town channels, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here!